know something else that may or may not be. I don't know which one's better.
Welcome to the Custom Apparel Startups Podcast, your best source for information, news, tips, and tricks to get you off the ground running and earn success with your custom apparel decorating business. So get ready to soak up some knowledge. Now, here are your hosts, Marc and Marc.
All right, we have live sound.
Okay.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the especially live version of the CAS podcast. Let's turn on the camera so they can see what we look like. Hey, this is the novelty today, folks.
All right.
You get to see. I'm going to make this screen bigger for us, which is just terrifying.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Marc Stephenson.
And Marc Vila here. Pleasure to have everyone here to talk about marketing and sales. Right?
Yeah, we are going to do this. Hello, Mayra. We're going to do this question and answer thing. We've done it one time before, but we're excited to have all of you new folks. Just to kind of answer your questions about marketing in general and your specific questions. Now, if you're feeling very adventurous, what you can do is let us know that you've got a microphone, and we will actually turn on your mic, and you can ask your question in person. No one did that last time, but you are definitely welcome to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to a point where we'll say raise your hand if you have a question. If you do raise your hand, we'll turn on your mic and you can just ask the question to us directly. We've got a bunch of emailed in questions.
Yeah, good ones too.
So we've got about a dozen or so here that were emailed in when the email went out this morning, and social posts that went out earlier this week. So hopefully we have a bunch of good stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people here, so
Yeah.
that's always good. Normally, Marc and I basically have to make up everything. This time, at least, we get a little bit of participation.
Yeah, when we do the podcast, it's just us. So we sit ahead of time and we think of things that we've heard the past week or the past month or the past year that our customers have asked or talked to us about, or situations we've run into. So it's great when we can get a question that just came in. And oftentimes we've talked about this stuff before in one way or another, but we can address them directly to you.
It's true, and I'm going to take advantage of the fact that you guys can see us and you can see the screen, and I'm going to give you a little tour of all the resources that Coleman & Company and Coldesi provide for you guys that could answer your questions without asking us. Okay, so hang on for just a second. I'm going to switch back over and just make it full screen here. And the first one is, if you're not already a member, you have to join the Custom Apparel Startups Facebook group. That is a must. It's more than 3,100 people now that are in your situation. They've got questions, you've got questions. They post on here a lot of the answers. We also have, hopefully you've heard about, or you've actually heard the CAS podcast. You can listen to that online right here. Just hit play, scroll down, and just look at all of the different podcasts that we've already done. There's probably 32, 33 hours worth of material.
Yes.
And frankly, all of these questions, we're just going to refer you to different podcasts we've already recorded.
That's actually most of it will be.
That's what we're going to do.
And some of these questions are going to be future podcasts.
Yes, true.
So because there's way too much to talk about, and really you need an hour's worth of time sometimes to answer one of these questions.
Any of the single topics, yeah. And if you can't hear us, just raise your hand and we'll see what we can do from this end. If you can't see us, that's not going to be too much of a big deal. As long as you can hear us, that's the important thing. This is CAS webinars, where you will see things like this. The webinar that we're having today, you'll also see what's coming up for both Coldesi and Coleman & Company. I highly recommend that. Of course, everybody should have Coleman & Company bookmarked in their favorites, as well as Coldesi. Okay, there's one more thing that I'm going to point out.
And while you're bringing that up, I just put in an order for 6 more webinars to come up over the next
okay,
weeks.
great.
So we just started doing that, and we're getting everything up and online and prepped. So come back to that page by the end of the week, and you'll see a few things up, I'm sure.
Absolutely. The last thing I'm going to show you is, if you are a Coldesi customer or Coleman & Company customer, we have these this ongoing education that we do a couple of times a week for folks that are already using our software and equipment, just to keep them fresh, to give them tips and tricks. We reserve it for our customers because, if you're new, it really doesn't apply. It's all about, how to use the software a little bit better, how to use the equipment a little bit better. as opposed to show and tell. So if you click on the online webinars at support.coldse.com, you will see the upcoming, we call them Tech Talks. And I think that's enough. I think we've subjected them to
the feedback on the Tech Talks, by the way,
it's
awesome.
Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
They're small classes.
Yep.
So you can actually get 100% of the attention that you want.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
And rare.
And rare to be able to just sit there for an hour or so and just have a technician. You can ask and look at everything they want. So really cool. You got to go to them if you have some of our equipment.
Yeah. Okay. So I see we've got a bunch of people in here now. Before we get started on the canned questions, is there anybody that's online right now that wants to ask us something? This is a Q&A.
So what we'll do is, if you want it, you can type something in right now. You can raise your hand and just leave it up, and we'll ask you while that's happening and while everyone's gathering their thoughts. Let's start. I'll start with the first question
please do.
here.
Yeah, do it.
This way we don't have to sit here while somebody's typing or thinking or getting the gall to raise their hand to ask the question.
That's the rated G version. How to say
so the first question that came in was from Gene. We have two questions from Gene, but they're two different Genes. Okay. So Gene, what is the best way to check out your market area? I'm wanting to expand in some type of bling. So Gene already has business, apparently.
Yeah.
She says she wants to expand, and she wants to know how to do market research.
Okay.
What do you think is the first step?
Well, there's a few things. First of all, Gene, if you are on today, I don't see your name. If you want to expand in any particular technology, and you're already in business, you're in a great position, because the first thing that you can do is you can ask all of your existing customers if they would be interested in that. If you're an embroidery or printed t-shirt, you can ask everyone that comes through the door or that place an order with or that you talk, if they're interested in bling.
Well, exactly that. Well, we did at Coleman & Company before we brought on any of our vinyl, sticker, and t-shirt products. That's literally what we did. We would have a customer call in and we would just ask them, hey, do you do this? What do you use? What brand do you use? Why do you use it? If we sold it, would you be interested in buying it from us? And of course, the answer was correct. Our prediction was correct. Enough of our customers were interested in buying it from us and looking for something new to do. So
the most recent example of that is sign vinyl.
Yeah, absolutely. That was another one. We just started talking about it, and folks were like, yeah, I'll do it. So ask your current customers, but also if you want to check out your market area, maybe her business she's done that already, but hasn't gotten the answers that you want. Yeah. So I think you had.
The first thing is do a little brainstorming here and say, who buys bling? I know in our area and in most of our customers' area, it's sports moms, it's dance moms, it's dance schools, it's cheerleading. It's pretty obvious who buys rhinestones. If you've got, Florida, we've got resorts all over the place, so there's a resorts business. Any type of activities that generates fans. We've got one customer that specializes in dog bling, believe it or not. She does dog sporting events. So to find out whether any of those things are popular in your area, you've got to go there. So for example, if you don't have any kids in dance or in baseball, go to a game anyway and just find the person with the with the nicest bling t-shirt or the one closest to you and say, hey, excuse me, I've got an XYZ business. I'm thinking about going into bling. How do you like your shirt? Where did you get it? How much did you pay for it? You can ask, and you never know. That person might be the key to a whole set of business.
Yeah, and they might. People will, generally speaking, if you're really honest about what you want to know, people will answer it. If you don't want to be that upfront about it, you could just say, hey, I like your shirt. Where'd you get it? How much does one of those cost? And people will probably just tell you, oh, I got it, so-and-so, it was $30, it was $20, whatever it would be. So you got to ask around. Of course, you have to get on the internet. I think that's the obvious answer. Yeah. But it's not. It just needs to be said. You've got to get on there. And not only do you need to search for what you think is what you want to do, but you need to brainstorm all the other words and keywords and ideas that other people might be searching. Yeah. So you're thinking, I want to expand to some sort of bling. You might just be searching for bling, and words that are associated with that. But you need to do rhinestones. You need to look up glitter. You need to look up, metallic prints, anything you can in your area, metallic sportswear, glitter sportswear. Look up all of those words, find other folks who are doing it, and check out to see what they're doing.
And two things. First of all, it's usually a good sign if somebody is already doing bling in your community, because it's kind of like Burger Kings are down the street from McDonald's. You've seen there's somebody already in the market, so there's someone buying something. But I just thought of something while we were talking, is you could just use the stalker method. And that is, you could stand outside sporting events at the end and just see how many women especially, or how many girls are coming out with what looked like custom designed bling. I told the story on one of our other podcasts recently. I was in Orlando, which is the home of any kind of trade show and competitions. So during a weekend stay, no fewer than 3 times did I see women up and down the elevator wearing bling shirts and bling jackets in support of their kids' sporting activities. So it was lacrosse and soccer and softball. If there is a sport in your area and the children have parents, the mom or the sister or the aunt is going to want bling. There's just no question about it. And the other thing I wanted to say is it's about 4,000 degrees in here. Because of the flooding and all the rains from the tropical storm just recently, we lost one of our air conditioning units that powers this room. But the good news is that we have extra lights, so it's hotter in here.
I'm okay right now. I haven't started sweating yet. I don't feel tacky, but we'll see how it goes in the next 20 minutes.
There you go. Okay, so we've got a question here.
Okay.
How do you what does that say?
All right. How do you regain steam in your company if you've lost ideas? Man, that's a good hard question.
Yeah.
So what would I do if we've lost ideas, say in Coleman and Company?
Well, I've got one thing. Is first of all, what business are you in that the ideas that you have are what's driving your business? You know what I mean? If you're already in business, let me rephrase this. Have people stopped buying your stuff? You know what I mean? So you may be bored selling the same stuff over and over again, but that doesn't mean that it's not successful and profitable. That's kind of 2 different questions. So Mark and I talk about this all the time. We spend a lot of time on pay-per-click advertising. I've had some of the same ads running for a year. They bore me to tears. They're basic. There's like 8 words in the entire ad. I use the same image on a bunch of words, but they work, and they get customers to us, and they're a great price. So the only thing that's making me look at whether or not I should change it or not is something inside me. There's no outside market conditions. So the first question is your business suffering for some reason? Or is it just that you want to make new stuff and you don't have any ideas?
So let's just say, for the sake of either way, he wants to, right?
Yeah.
He wants new ideas.
Okay.
So if you want new ideas, where do you get them? One of the first, whenever I'm stumped for any idea, I just call it I look for inspiration, and that's what I do. That's what the creative mind of me does, and that doesn't matter if I'm cooking food at home or I'm doing marketing stuff here.
Yeah.
I look for inspiration. Where am I going to find inspiration? Either one of 2 things. I just jump on and do internet searches for the words I'm trying to do, and then I click on images or videos, and I just watch, and then I just let myself kind of go down a rabbit hole. Yeah. And next thing you know, I might start at bling t-shirts like we were just talking about before, and I might end up on a car part website. Right. But I saw something cool that company did, and then I'm like, this is inspiring. I like how they were teaching their person, how to particularly change this part or how they can use this stuff.
But just in general, like you're the creative part of the team. So more creative than me. And the last couple of webinars that you've done, you've gotten your inspiration from the news.
Yeah.
So when Prince passed away, Mark decided to do a webinar on bling and vinyl. Kind of a tribute to Prince, and then that led to a tribute to David Bowie.
Yep.
So that was a little piece of information from the news. So you can do that. You can also Pinterest, Etsy, Google and Bing, a lot of the search engines have a top 10 news items or a top 10 keywords or top 10 searched terms for the day. So you can look at those too, and if you see, you know, maybe something with the election, or maybe something with another news event, or maybe leather pants are trending, or maybe tiaras are trending. There's a Miss Universe that was just crowned recently, or Miss America. You know, those are sources for inspiration. So you can look in the news too and draw your ideas from that.
And the last thing I would say is, you know, if you have a team of folks, if you have a team, look for inspiration from them, and possibly offer an incentive for the next great idea.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, if you sell t-shirts and you're looking for some new t-shirts ideas because you feel like your website's a little bit stale, sales are stagnating a little bit, but you feel dry in your ideas and your inspiration, you know, for one, you do what a writer or a songwriter would do. Two things, you know, step away from it completely. Do not make sure you don't try to think of it for a while and allow inspiration to come, you know, when it comes through, or inspire your team. So if you've got 5 or 6 people to say, hey, next great idea gets, you know, lunch bought for them, you know, every Friday for the next month.
Honestly, if you're a small business, the team could be everyone that's sitting around your dinner table every night.
Yeah,
You know, just
the family. And then we also will do just fun little contests here with ideas. And sometimes it's not even necessarily a monetary reward. It's just, hey, if you do that, then you can make me a t-shirt on Friday, whatever you want, and I'll wear it all day. And you make the shirt.
That's dangerous.
You know, it's dangerous.
That's dangerous.
But if your business is your family, and there's 4 of you or 3 of you or 6 of you, and it says, all right, whoever gets the next great idea gets to make 2 t-shirts and we have to go to Walmart in them.
Yeah.
It turns into this fun game everyone wants to win, and you find that you probably didn't just get 1 great idea, you probably got 9 great ideas. So
it sounds terrifying to me. I don't know if I
looking for inspiration from your team.
Judge by your own family. I don't know how to do that. All right, so Melissa wants to know, what is an easy way to meet new customers? I've got a lot of referrals, but I want to get more orders faster. I am going to refer you to the previous 3 podcasts that we did, all on how to get more sales next month. But the fundamental answer is you have to actually go meet new customers. You've got the verb in there. Where are you going to meet new customers? Are you going to meet them in a church group, or are you going to go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting? Are you going to go to a sporting event? Are you going to go to a flea market or a fair or a carnival close by? Maybe there is some kind of a community service event, like a charity run or something like that. Wherever you would normally meet people, you know, you've got to go where people gather, and that's a great way to generate new business.
Yeah, wear what you do, you know, is a big thing.
Right.
And that's I'm not going to pretend
that.
I'm not going to pretend like that's my idea. That's Mark Stephenson says that one.
Thank you.
You know, but it's one of the things that it's one of the things I do, and I've always kind of done it, but not said it. But wear what you do. Go around. If you are in the bling business, wear something with a lot of bling. You know, if you have embroidery, you know, wear your company logo. You know, even if you're going to your you know, your child's sporting event, you know, wear your company logo on there, and embroidery and more, you know, whatever you might do. So wear what you do, and you just have to break out of your shell just a little bit. If you have a shell that you're in, break out of it just a little bit, go to these events and just say, start small. That's kind of the theme I always say. If you aren't the type of person who's going to go out and just shake everyone's hands and introduce you, because more than likely, if you're asking this question, you're not that type of person.
Right.
You're not the type of person.
You're probably at home looking at the phone.
Yeah.
Working on your computer, doing everything you can not to go out and meet new people.
Yeah. So all you need to do is just say, today's goal. I'm going to go to the hockey game, the soccer game, basketball camp, and I'm just going to try to meet one person and just tell them what I do. And run away if I have to. But have business cards, go out there, and just, if you're sitting in the stands, just say, hey, who's your kid? Number 17? Oh, okay, awesome. You know, and then just kind of say, hey, by the way, I do fan wear for all of this stuff. I'm not trying to sell anything to you now, but if you know anybody, you know, here's my card.
I got it. Here's what you do. do something that you can put in your hand. So do a t-shirt, do a cap, do a bling design, do a scarf, doesn't matter what it is. Have your work in your hand, and if your kids go to school, go up to the principal or the vice principal and say, hey, this is what I do. Go up to the whoever runs your PTA, your parent-teacher organization. If you attend a church, after services one day, go up to the pastor and the youth pastor and say, hey, this is what I do. Maybe you can use it, the next time you're doing fundraising for mission work. If you go to the grocery store, if you go to a hair salon, if you get your hair or your nails done, carry a piece of what you do in there. Go in there and say, hey, this is what I do. Do you guys, do you do aprons or anything like that? Are you interested in that kind of thing? And if any of those people say yes, now you've got a market. You've demonstrated that the hair salon, the school, the church, the soccer game, whatever it is, that they're interested in what you do, and then you go to a different one.
Yeah.
And do the same thing, and then you go to a different one and do the same thing. And the best part is you get to say things like, you know what, I do the t-shirts for Bobcat Elementary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, I got my hair cut at Fantastic What's-Its.
Yeah.
And I do all their aprons now. It's very cool. Let me show you one. And now you've got something to talk about, and you'll make more money. But those 3 podcasts are going to do it for you.
Yeah, and we go into it in a lot more detail in there, but that's essentially the answer.
Yeah.
Is just go out there and create your own referrals.
Yep.
In a way, because if you tell that person, if you start telling people, you might not necessarily get business from that principal or from that coach, but their brother or their cousin or their good friend. Oh yeah, my good friend just started up an electrician business, and he's got a team of 6 guys. I know he's looking for uniforms.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Yeah.
And you'd just be surprised that I'm not even I don't make apparel for a living, but I tell enough people what I do that
They ask all the time.
I get referral business that I give away to other people. I say, oh, I don't make the stuff myself. I help other folks get in this industry. That's my part of this whole thing. So next, we have another question.
Yep,
Should I
I sure
move on
do.
here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Kathleen, my business isn't on Google. I'm not sure if this is something you can answer here, but how can I get found when people search my area?
Okay, this is actually good. I'm going to switch back over to the computer screen for this one. And for those of you just listening to this podcast,
And maybe turn the camera off for a moment. That might help.
yep, that's good.
There we go.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Google My Business. And free business listing on Google, Google My Business. This is it. Hit the Start Now button.
Show people you're open for business.
Yeah, and what this will
That's
do...
probably what she wants right there. That's
Yeah.
what I envisioned, at least, was that
Right.
somebody was searching, Kathleen's t-shirt shop or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and it didn't say that with the stars and the ratings and the reviews
Right.
and the phone number.
Right.
You want that.
So this is it. I mean, you've got to have a website or a Facebook page. You've got to have some place for them to go, or a Google Plus profile. So start now and go through this process. I did a Udemy class on an online platform about getting found online. I'll post the link so you guys can take it for free. But this is basically the whole thing. Is start now here, and then you go to Bing Places. Bing Places for Business, and guess what you do here? Hit the Get Started.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's how you get listed. Now, I have 2 very important pieces of advice before you do that. And the first one is have one email address. Okay, so pick a business email address and use it for everything. And the second thing is fill out every single thing. There are several places throughout the process where you get a chance to describe your business.
Mm-hmm.
The words that you use to describe your business are how people are going to find you. So if you say, if your business is Kim's Embroidery Shop, or I guess I should say Kathleen's Embroidery Shop, if that's your business and you don't fill in a description, then Google is going to have trouble pointing people to your business.
Yes, unless they search exactly your business name.
Right. So you've got to put your address in there, you've got to put your name in there, your phone number. You've got to say things like if you have an embroidery business, it's going to be Kathleen's Embroidery Business We specialize in doing embroidered corporate polos, embroidered pillows, embroidered caps. We're great at fast delivery, and our customers come back all the time. And put in your hours, put in everything that you possibly can, even if you work from home, and that's how you get found.
Yeah, and also understand what you put on there is going to be what is going to be searchable and displayed to anybody who goes on there. So if there is something that you don't want to have on there, be sure to not fill it in.
Yes.
So if you put your address, it is going to, and every once in a while you'll see it. You'll search on Google, and in your neighborhood, it'll say such and such appraisals. Right. And I'm just like, well, that person put their home address in that spot, and now they're a point on the map. Maybe you don't want that.
You can select it to not be displayed, but you do have to put in some information about where you are, the city you're in, to get the local business.
So just pay attention, read slowly, don't try to rush through it. You can be done in 5 minutes, or you can spend 30 minutes on it and make it awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So spend 30 minutes, dedicate a half hour to it, and it will look fantastic. And read it, reread it, and go back every once in a while, especially as you add something new.
Yeah.
Somebody is a screen print shop and will buy an embroidery machine and a vinyl cutting machine,
and they'll never update their profile.
Never update it, and they miss out on some of that business.
Yeah, exactly. So remember to fill out everything, use your keywords, and go to those places.
And then one last thing is find out if your local mayor's office, city council, chamber of commerce, if any of them have business listings that they offer. It's worth the little bit of research that it takes to find out if they offer business listings to get your name on it.
Agreed. Patricia's got an important question. Is it worth paying someone to promote your website along with what you've just described? No, it's not. It's almost never worth it. If you will do the Bing and Google listings, you'll do a Facebook page and fill out absolutely everything. You do a LinkedIn profile. That should be enough.
Yeah.
Do you disagree?
Well, what does it mean to have somebody promote my website? It's a very vague, and maybe you're not sure. Maybe somebody's offered this to you, but what does that mean exactly? Does that mean that this person is going to do, are they going to SEO, optimize, your website, and all of a sudden you're going to be #1 found, and all of these things? It's going to cost a lot of money, and it's still going to take a long time, and it may or may not do anything beneficial to you, because the search engines are trying to avoid that. They don't want anybody to scam. Now, if it means that, are you going to pay somebody to manage Google ads and Facebook ads and Twitter ads, and maybe manage local listings, manage local advertising?
Yeah.
I would say that could be worth the money. If you don't know how to do online ads and you want to pay somebody to do them for you,
depending on how much the money is,
then then yes. So I would say yes if that. No if it's just make somebody pay a company $10,000 to get me found #1, because chances are it's not going to be a long-term benefit.
I mean, honestly, so I've been in the SEO kind of space for about 6 or 7 years now, and the things that I did a few years ago will kill my rank in Google if I do them now.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword to have somebody do that kind of work. Okay, Patricia's got another question.
Yeah,
they're just promoting my website with SEO.
Yeah, now what does that mean? You have to beat them up on that. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean by that? By making sure my website is optimized for the web? Okay, that's a one-time thing. Yeah, that's good. Are they going to write articles for you? Who's writing them? Are they going to be relevant? Where are they putting them? Are they dropping them into these fake link websites everywhere? And they're writing, and are they paying somebody overseas to write articles about your business, then posting them in a link farm article, or posting them in some sort of a press release forum that nobody ever goes to? You can spend so much money and time. So I would say, what are you going to do? What are you going to charge me? Why are you going to do that? And you got to beat them up, and then you have to do some of your own research on if that's going to be worth it.
Here's my favorite thing to talk to those guys about, and no one has ever called me on it. Is to tell you what are you going to charge? $2,500, $5,000, something like that. And I'll say, okay, The day that I am number one for these following search words, I will write you a check for $1,000 more than what you're going to charge me. And no one is interested because they can't guarantee it. It's not a, it's kind of an art rather than a science. And it's not, you can optimize your website and get the best results possible, but there's no guarantee that it'll actually.
Yeah, you know how you do it yourself is you ask your customers to do reviews for you.
Yeah.
You ask your customers to follow you and share things on Facebook and Twitter and social media. You ask your customers to say, hey, you just bought this. I'm on Google right now. Can you go on your phone and give me a review? You ask your friends who know you, say, hey, will you go on Google and review me on my business?
Yeah.
I just did that for a friend of mine. That he does something, I know all about his business. I can fairly review him. I said 5 stars. I said, I know Andrew really well. Yeah. I've known him for a long time. I know his business. I've seen him do his business. And that was my review that I wrote. And it was honest and true. And do that too. All of that stuff is going to weigh out way more than, because I'm always cautious on the SEO sale that people try to pitch out there, because oftentimes it's a chasing a tail type of a game.
Yep. Okay, so next question is from Stephanie. How much should I charge for a t-shirt?
So this is a simple question that goes across the board
and we get it all the time.
All day, every day. I think it's the only question I get asked.
Yes.
Are you warm?
A little bit.
We're in Florida.
I know.
I mean, come on.
I know. That's why we have air conditioning normally.
So this is what I say. So a couple things on there. I say I take this question and I break it down to about 5 or 6 or 7 other questions.
Okay.
So, okay. Break down what market are you in? Okay. Are you in the cheap t-shirt market that you're selling, that you are buying the cheapest possible shirt that you can buy from your wholesaler, period, and that might change the next time you order, okay? If that's the market that you're in, then that's the first thing to look at. Are you selling online? Are you selling locally? Are you selling bling? Are you selling embroidery? Are you selling screen printed? Are you selling custom? Or are you selling ideas, things that are funny? Right. So you have to break down all of that stuff, and then whatever the market will hold. So if you are selling a high-end, nice quality t-shirt, and you know that it's going to be one of the nicest ones in the area, you do some market research, find out what everyone in the area is charging. Right. You ask them what shirt they're putting it on, and then you mark yourself within the range of the folks that are on the high-end shirt. Right. If you're buying Bellas, find is anyone selling a Bella or an equivalent? That's what I'm going to price my shirts closest to. And then, or am I selling the cheapest t-shirt possible? Right. That's my market. It's just the market value. How much is a Ford Mustang worth? Yeah. Well, how much is a Camaro worth? Right. And how much are the other cars that are comparable? Well,
like there are 2 basic approaches, and we almost did a pricing podcast today. There are 2 basic approaches to pricing. A lot of people go and look at how much the materials cost and how much time they're going to spend producing it, and then mark it up to what they think is fair. And I think that is the best way to get paid the least amount possible for what you're doing. Because all of you, I guarantee, are going to undervalue yourselves. You're going to think it's $10 an hour or $15 an hour or $25 an hour when that really doesn't matter. The method that Mark just described of looking at what the market will bear and then charging something fair and reasonable around there is another great method. So if your average order is going to be 12 custom printed t-shirts and you're selling it locally, how much do people charge locally for that kind of thing? Mm-hmm. And then you could charge something in that range. Me personally, I keep charging more and more money until people say no, and then I back up a little bit. Because I want all of you to make the maximum amount possible, not the minimum amount.
Yes, I agree. And I've sold a lot of different things in my life all over the board. And
some of them legal.
Yeah, most of them.
Most of them.
So, however, I've never been a fan of trying to be the cheapest in dealing with that customer. They're always the most dissatisfied customer. They're always the ones that are never going to be loyal to you.
Yeah.
So I would say, go for quality when possible in your market. So we sell a Graphtec cutter, and
Yep.
Hotronix heat presses, and Georgianite heat presses.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 awesome quality known names in the industry
That you can buy in a lot of different places.
You can buy in a lot of places, and they all kind of are close to the same price.
Yeah.
However, they're great. They're not the cutter you're going to buy, through a discount website that you can buy for $100.
Yeah.
They're not even close to that quality.
Yeah.
But I know when we sell that cutter, it's awesome. It's great. I know what it's worth.
Yeah.
And I know we can sell it for. So I recommend that as well. If you go across the board and you find that everyone is selling in your area, selling orders of 20 shirts for $16 a piece, after fees. Factor in fees, this is all another thing, is that don't judge on just the price per shirt. Are there setup fees? Are there, are there other fees involved?
You know what? Forget all that.
Yeah.
Stephanie, you should charge $25. That's what you should charge. Charge $25 for a shirt. I don't care what you do to it. Just charge $25 or more for a shirt. If you can get that, then it'll be worth your while.
But yeah, and my point is make it worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make it worth it, but sell a better shirt.
But I know,
else.
like, we give these complicated answers to that question all the time, and it's so common, and the answer is $25.
Yeah, the answer is $25.
The answer is just $25. Okay, we've got another question here. Can you read that one? Mayra wants to know.
What's better, a Gmail or a Yahoo account for email, essentially?
Okay.
So I'm going to give my
Go ahead.
techie answer on it,
Yes.
as far as what I read. If we're looking at organizations to align ourselves with an email, I would prefer to be with.
Interesting way to look.
Yeah, I would prefer my business to be associated with a company that is going to innovate and make new things, services, whether paid or free, that are going to benefit my business more.
Like the robot dog.
Like a robot dog. I didn't. That wasn't what I was thinking. But I'm glad you went there. So that's my thought. So if we're looking at that, Microsoft and Google are both companies that are investing a lot of time and money into their email services and everything that goes around that bubble. And I don't read a lot about Yahoo doing that.
No, and you won't, because Yahoo's in dire straits. They're selling off pieces and parts. Here's what I'll say, and that's actually a good question. Normally, I would ignore it and say it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And in one sense, it doesn't. I like your angle on who do you want to be associated with. But more than that, Google is going to be around. They have Google Drive. There's a lot of ancillary services you can use. Google Docs. So spreadsheet software and word processing software. All that stuff is all bundled into Gmail. And I don't think Gmail is going to go the way of if you still have an AOL address or a Prodigy address or something along those lines, good for you. I've still got my original Hotmail address, but it does say something about the technology in your business.
Yeah.
We look like if we get an email from someone that is using an AOL email address, we assume certain things about that person. Like they probably they don't have the most updated computer. They're not the most technologically advanced. You're saying something about yourself. So I think Gmail is a good choice.
Yeah, I just think it is. And you can also look into the Microsoft option as well.
Yeah, I've got that too. Outlook.com is good.
Yeah, everyone likes their things. And then the Apple option as well.
It's never a good idea.
The iCloud is another one that folks really like, and depending on what they do, and what they use. So if you've got a brand new Windows 10 laptop and tablet, look into the Outlook option. It's going to be native on the system.
I do. It's great.
If you've got a brand new iPad and MacBook, look into the iCloud option, and then both of those will accept Gmail and each other's, honestly,
absolutely.
because they all know who they are. So we have another question, LaShawn.
Yeah.
What are some ways to increase customer retention? I don't feel like I'm losing customers, but I have the concern about competition.
LaShawn, the answer is $25.
$25.
That's going to be the answer for today. It's $25. Listen to the other podcast. Next question. No. So that's really interesting. What I underlined here is, LaShawn, you said I don't feel like I'm losing customers, but I have concerns about competition. So what bothers me about that is the word feel. LaShawn, you should know whether or not you're losing customers. So in other words, if you have regular customers that come to you all the time and they reorder, if they haven't reordered with the same frequency, you should make it a project to know that, so you'll know if you are actually losing customers.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's one thing with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how long LaShawn's been in business.
Right.
If LaShawn's been in business 4 months, he might not have even hit a reorder cycle yet.
Right.
So he's gotten business, sold to somebody, and they are going to reorder in the fall.
Yes.
When their sports hit again. They said they will.
Yeah.
So that's kind of maybe how I could be reading it too, is, I talk to these people and they tell me I'm not, but I haven't reached that point yet.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to be concerned before the facts are there yet, but you should look to the facts first.
Gotcha. So the other part of that is, what are some ways to increase customer retention? And we actually did a whole webinar a whole podcast on that as well. But it's being great is really one of the ways. Go out of your way to be useful to people. That is kind of the theme at Coleman and Company and Coldesi is, and one of the reasons that we're doing this podcast is we strive for ways to be useful. So when you think of custom apparel, you think of printers or embroidery machines or cutters or supplies, you think of us because we're useful to your business. You should do the same.
Yep.
And you can do that by, hey, let's say you get a first an order and it's for shirts, and you do embroidery, in a month after that order, send them a free cap. You're being useful. You let them know, hey, this is out here. We also do this. Mm-hmm. You could also increase customer retention by staying in touch with people. Even if, like Mark said, if they're going to order again in 6 months, mm-hmm. or when you take that first order and you find out, say, hey, you know what, I order these about every 90 days. We do a charity event every 90 days. I'm going to need new shirts. Then stay in touch. Pick up the phone and call them. Become somebody that they know by name, and they know you and your business, and that's the way to keep customers.
Yeah, and just like you said, keeping in touch with them. I think that's an important thing. And give them the best experience you possibly can when you're helping them.
Yeah.
So thank them, more often than you feel that is necessary.
Yeah.
Send a written thank you note if you can. Send an email thank you note. Just call them to say thank you. When you deliver, don't deliver it in the beat up box with folded over top, if you don't have to. Yeah. If you can have new boxes, if you can put a sticker or order boxes with your logo printed on it, you can get, single color stickers that you can put onto a box with your logo and name on it.
Yeah.
And when they get a box that's nice and neatly taped up, and they open it up and it's tissue paper on top that they pull off, and then inside is a stacked up, neatly folded shirts
with maybe a personal note from you on top.
Yeah,
that says,
a sticky note, even a sticky note. Thank you. Thanks for your order. Do that, and that's part of the experience of them getting it. Invest in one of those simple $10 T-shirt folders.
Yeah,
and fold it up.
Looks good.
If you want to plastic baggie each shirt, maybe because you want to make sure that there's shirts like this that are going to be worn to business events.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that when the customer gets their shirt, there's no dirt or marks or or moisture on it. Yeah. So you can go and order the T-shirt plastic sheet.
So LaShawn, I'm going to give you an old school kind of a formula to follow. Okay, so if you are new in business or you're not used to following up with your customers, whether or not someone orders or not from you, you should follow up with them 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months. So 3 days after you get the phone call or 3 days after you deliver an order, you should call them up, or preferably call them up. If you're not going to call them up, then send them an email or send them a card that says thank you. If they did not purchase, then 3 days later say, hey, how goes your search? Have you decided on a vendor yet? Mm-hmm. 3 weeks later, one of those two events have happened. You stay in touch, say, hey, this is LaShawn from LaShawn's Embroidery. Just calling to make sure you know that we're still out here and ready to provide you with custom T-shirts and embroidery. And then every 3 months, for the rest of their lives, they've established that they're a person that will one day buy or that has bought custom apparel. You want to be on their call list. So every 3 months, you send them an email, you send them a note, you pick up the phone and leave them a voicemail, say, hey, LaShawn from LaShawn's Embroidery, still here. Yeah. Can't wait to do some work for you, or can't wait to do some work for you again. Give me a call back if you need me. Here's my phone number.
Yeah, and keep notes on your customers as well. So if they did something for a particular, say, a charity run,
Yeah.
Keep a note on that. Remember that when you talk to them, mention it. Let them know that, hey, I took time, whether it was purely my memory or I wrote it down. Either way, I took the time to focus attention on you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to always do that, and you're always going to get good service.
Do you realize we've been going for like 45 minutes? We've answered like 3 questions.
We've had
4 questions.
We had a couple.
Okay.
We do have another one.
Yes, we do.
Go ahead. Tell me about Etsy. What's your opinion of selling on there?
I've never sold on Etsy, but I know that there are people that make a lot of money selling on Etsy. I think it's a great platform if you are devoted to it. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of these social sales kind of platforms, it's not a set it and forget it. It is something where you have to participate in the Etsy community and participate with other vendors and with customers, fill out all your description and do everything right in order to sell on Etsy.
Yeah, are you selling on Etsy because within that community you're going to have customers that are going to find your products through Etsy? Or are you using Etsy as your e-commerce store, meaning that you are driving all of your own business and then you're selling it through there? So if you have all of your own business that you're driving through it, then it's not the cheapest option and easiest option to post your products to sell. You can get a very inexpensive e-commerce site that you can run yourself and you don't have to have much to do it. And however, if you're using the community build, typically, what are you going to sell on Etsy that's going to be so unique that people are going to buy it? Because that's what sells through there.
Right.
They are a unique item sale. I can buy, if I want a particular princess-themed dress that no store sells.
And he does.
For my daughter.
Okay.
Then I know I probably have to go to Etsy and I can find somebody who custom makes dresses and makes these particular, purple princess dresses that I can buy, one that I can't find in the store anywhere else. So what are you going to sell on there? Is it unique enough that it's going to be worth your time?
Yeah. Now we do have a really big customer that called the Nesting Project, and they do a fantastic job. They've got direct-to-garment printers that they don't print garments on most of the time. What they print is wooden wedding invitations.
Yeah.
And they've got a big, beautiful website, and when you click to buy one of their things, it takes you to their Etsy store. So that's a good example of using it as your shopping cart as opposed to your main marketing method.
And then next question, Mary, you said, what do you think is the best way to approach the dealer? I'm not sure what you mean by that, so if you want to rephrase it.
Yeah, if you want to wholesale to somebody on Etsy, that's a hard road.
Yeah.
That's a hard road. I mean, you can, and that's write them a very personal and thought out letter. Say, hey, maybe it goes something like that. And this is somebody that's going to look at any dealers.
Yeah.
And you write them a letter or an email or a note, or you call them up and say, hey, this is Mary. I was just on Etsy and I really love the stuff that you produce. I would love to be a part of that. Here's what I make. Mm-hmm. Can we set up some kind of a relationship about that? You can keep it simple just like that. Be complimentary, say what you do, and get off as fast as possible.
Okay. Next question. What's the best way to sell to a Honda or a Ford dealer? So
okay, I like that.
Get anyone who has a name manager and their title, meet them, and that's the best way.
No,
in my opinion,
I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I was in the car business. The best way you can sell to a Honda or a Ford dealer is be very attractive. That's the way to do it. If that is, or if you'd like to not take that route, then it's to go in with actual samples. I mean, don't call, don't do any of that. Go during the day when they're not busy, probably like 3 o'clock on a weekday afternoon, or maybe right after a sales meeting, which is usually around 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Go in with your samples, just like we talked about, and find the guy with a tie and say, hey, my name's Mary. I do this kind of stuff. I'd love to do some custom stuff for you guys. What do we need to do to get started?
Yeah, and
that's it.
I'm always a fan of being just real. Hey, I know you guys sell stuff. I sell stuff. You're real busy. I'm sure you've got a ton of people coming in here. I want to let you know what I do, and I know you guys do all types of events because I hear you on the radio. If you need shirts for your staff, bling, I'll do any of it
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Here I am.
That's good.
You know, and
There-
maybe if you buy something from me, I'll buy a car from you.
There's a hand raised. It's like a
Okay.
unicorn. Let's see if somebody
Go
actually
ahead.
wants to get on the on the thing there. Look at that. Chris is brave. Okay, Chris, I'm going to turn on your microphone. All right, Chris, you are live and on the air with Mark and Mark. What's your question?
All right, guys. Hey, I actually I didn't mean to hit the raise hand button,
You
but
what?
I actually did have a question. I was seeing if you guys could touch on business to business.
Yeah, what
Mark.
what kind of stuff do you do, Chris?
Oh, embroidering, screen printing, all of it.
Okay, sure. I'm going to mute you now, and we'll do the answer. Thanks.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, great. Thanks.
So, business to business sales so I've sold printers, business to business.
Yes.
I've sold lending and money, business to
Yep.
business. I worked for a bank. So I've sold financing business to business where, we would sell to, a company that painted houses and doing their financing for them. So
Okay.
I've worked in a few different ways.
Yep.
And I think that they all are in the business of selling to people and soliciting, and they always say they don't want to be sold to or solicited. Okay,
Right.
so you're going to be in a market on the business to business side where you're dealing with owners that are constantly being bombarded.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the most amazing thing about apparel: nobody is calling them to offer them T-shirts.
Right.
Nobody. They're getting hit up for the SEO thing every day.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm always skeptical on it. How many possible companies can promise me I can be number one on Google?
Right.
They're getting hit up for merchant services
Yeah.
every day. If you're a embroidery business, you're probably getting hit up for cheap digitizing services every day.
Yeah.
But nobody's getting called up and hit up about T-shirts.
I want to sell you custom
caps
T-shirts. Yeah.
and embroidered polos. So as Mark said, make phone calls or go in person. Find steps. Find who out the decision maker is.
Yep.
Or even before that, maybe do they order custom things ever?
Yeah.
Who's the decision maker on that?
Yep.
What? How can you get in touch with that decision maker? Drop a sample in their hand if it's relevant.
Yep.
And then find out their contact information. Follow up with them.
Yeah.
And get them into your sales cycle, whatever that means. Whether it means you're going to visit their area, you're in that area of town and you pop in every once in a while, or you call them up, or you ask if it's okay for them to get on your email list, whatever it might be. It's about finding the businesses that will buy stuff from you and who makes the decision, and then just following up with them consistently.
Yeah, Chris. I mean, I love business to business. That's my preferred way to sell. And because you usually get one contact person in big orders or bigger orders. So what I would do is I would go back to the podcast that we did on active word of mouth.
Yes.
And basically what that is setting up kind of a sales territory. I prefer to do that in person. So you can do that. You can meet other businesses in a few ways. The first one is if you can take a 10-mile radius around your place of business or your house, throw 2 samples in the car, and just go and stop at businesses with open doors and say, hey, my name's Chris. Here's my card. This is what I do. Do you guys ever order custom apparel? If you don't, then how about you personally? Are you part of any clubs or religious organizations or charities that do this kind of thing? Because I'm a pro. It's what I do. So you could develop your own pitch that way. That's number one, is get in the car and go look. Number 2 is I am always surprised at the number of leads groups and Chamber of Commerce meetings that there still are. You can get a local paper and look in the back, or go online and look in the back, and see there are groups of salespeople that get together on a weekly basis, usually for breakfast for some reason. And they will exchange cards of leads, of new businesses that are in town, things like that. You can join them, and they will actually be your customer. Because if somebody is an insurance salesperson, a lot of times they're going to wear logoed gear.
Yep.
If they're a pest control company looking for more customers and they come to the leads group, they're going to need what you sell. So I would definitely do that.
That it's going to those events is great because you're going to sit at a table and 2 of the guys are going to sell insurance and 2 of the guys are going to be real estate brokers.
There's a copier salesman.
There's
Everyone. There's a copier guy. Everyone.
These are all the things that all of those people in those industries are trained to do. all right? And all of them wear custom apparel.
Yeah.
And you more than likely will be the only custom apparel decorator at that table.
Yeah, it's great.
And I think there's one other place is anybody who you do business with, try to become their customer. Who do you buy your life insurance through? Who do you buy your health insurance through?
That's good.
You know, all of those things. Talk to those people.
Where do you get your car repaired?
Where do you get your car repaired? Who's your plumber? Who's your electrician?
Right.
Who's your AC company? Who paints your house? You know, everything. All of those people probably wear custom apparel for their businesses, and just tell them, hey, I give you business. You know, I'm just saying, if you gave me business too,
Listen,
that would
I
be
gotta
pretty
tell
cool.
you, I gotta tell you, I've got a bug guy.
Yeah.
He comes and sprays my house once a year, and he's a great guy. We talk the whole time that he's there, and the first thing he asks me now, because Mark knows, you know, I love business. I try to do side businesses all the time. Every time the guy comes to my house, the first thing he says now is, okay, what's the business you're into now?
Yeah.
So, and that's what you want. You want these guys to find ways to be loyal to you like you are to them.
Yeah.
So
Great.
that's a good
All right, so we've got,
Good question.
I'm going to say like 5 to 10 minutes left
Yes.
on the clock from the time we started.
Wow.
So, and we've got a decent amount of questions. Let's kind of, the next question actually, well, one of the second next question, actually the Trent, he said, lightning round, what are some good places to find customers?
Yes.
So let's lightning round the rest of this.
Oh yeah. Okay, good.
But we named a bunch just now.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if we need to necessarily repeat them. But as we said, people who you already do business with, you know, churches and schools and
Hair salons,
and
police departments,
dentist office.
charities,
So anybody who fixes houses,
hospitals,
anybody who fixes cars.
Yeah, maid services.
So all of these, you know, you think uniform, and then and close your eyes.
Yeah.
And just think about everyone you see that wears uniform. Walk around Walmart.
Yeah.
And you're not looking for names of businesses where you can stalk these people and read their shirt. You know, Joe's.
I like that.
You
though.
could do that.
I like that.
But really, I again, like I go back. I'm always looking for inspiration.
Yeah.
So I go there and I'm looking around. I'm saying, what type of businesses? Okay, that they're a waste disposal company. Are
Yeah.
there? Like, I know that people take on my trash, but are there other independent waste disposal companies in my area that probably everybody wears a uniform?
Man, that sounds hard.
Easy.
I would go to the nearest shopping plaza and look at the names of every store in there. There's going to be a grocery store that needs polos. There's going to be a restaurant that needs apparel. There's going to be a hair salon that needs apparel. Maybe there's some kind of a commercial real estate organization that needs, you know, hats and polos. There's going to be maid service. Like, everybody literally is your customer.
Yeah,
I don't think we don't even need that lightning round.
Yeah, the answer is everywhere you go, pay attention, and you will see potential customers.
Okay, let's keep going. Christine wants to know, I want to sell on Facebook. How do I get followers? Be a follower, Christine. So first of all, fill out your Facebook page completely. All the keywords, describe your business, every single thing on there has to be filled out. You have to have great pictures. One of those pictures needs to be you, Christine. You need to have your picture. You'll find you'll do a lot better if people know who you are and can relate to you.
Make videos that you can put on there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure every woman on here is familiar with like this like Lulu legging thing.
Yes,
you know about this.
Yes,
whatever.
absolutely.
Yeah, they're all over the place. But these ladies who rep these, you know, they take their phone and they just say, "Hey, I got my new thing in. It's coming in tonight. I'm going to announce it."
Yeah.
So, you know, do little videos. People will like that. Participate with the people there. Ask your friends to join. But don't ask your friend if you are going to sell fancy embroidered towels. Don't ask your friend's husband to join because he's not going to care.
Yeah,
you know, but ask your friend to join. Ask her mom to join. Ask anybody who would be interested to join, and then say, "Hey, you know, what would be a really great favor for me if you know somebody else who would like my stuff, or even pictures of it. Ask them to join, and do that."
And Christine, let's say if you do printed shirts and you do sports apparel, then on Facebook you should be following the Tampa Bay Lightning. You should be making comments on your local government page. You should be on your schools, you know, the area school's Facebook page, just posting random pictures of your stuff and participating in general. That's how you make money on Facebook.
Participate in other groups, have people participate in yours, and participate in your own. Everyone who makes a comment, thank them, like their posts.
Jean's got a great question that I love. How can I organize my customers? Right now I have a stack of about 40 customers, and I see this becoming a mess real soon. The word you're looking for, Gene, is CRM. It stands for Customer Resource Management.
Customer relationship management. Just CRM, search for CRM on Google.
Find a free one.
Yeah, there's more than enough with free trials. Jump in them, and all they are simple pieces of software. You can organize all your customers' informations, their names and emails, and the status of their orders and all that
and
stuff.
at our companies, we use Zoho CRM. That's ZOHO CRM. That's
and there's a ton out there that are awesome. vTiger, Base, some Salesforce like that. Salesforce is a bigger one. It's a higher dollar one, but it is massive in its resources. And you can find smaller ones like Base CRM, which aren't nearly the size of Zoho, and have maybe less features and less developers, but will allow you to simply get started.
Brandon wants to know, how do I get more people to find me and my work?
So we've talked about this a bunch here today. You get out there, you talk to people, participate in social any way you can, if that's your bag. Participate in Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Talk to people. Google my business. Big places. It's just like in the beginning, you might not have a lot of money.
Right.
So use the time. Spend the time on all the social platforms, and it'll grow. It's not going to grow to $1 million business overnight, but you'll get fans, you'll get people that like your work, and you'll grow.
And Brandon, personally, I can't say enough about going local and doing things personally, doing it yourself. So don't just rely on online. You're going to have to pick up the phone, go see people, talk to people, show them their stuff.
Yeah, and they dance with each other. So when you go online, get people to join any online groups you have or follow you. Follow people first, they'll reciprocate it back. So do that. If you see somebody and you want them to follow you, follow them first.
Okay, let's go. Jeremy, why would someone choose my business over my competition? I don't just want to sell by undercutting price every day. I need to be profitable. Jeremy, never not be profitable.
There you go.
Okay, never not be profitable. We've talked about a bunch of ways to get new business. Those 3 podcasts on getting more business next month, that's 3 hours of material where we do nothing but talk about how to generate more business next month. So that's what you really need to sit down with a pen and a paper. And honestly, there may be some things that you don't want to do. Doesn't matter, do them anyway. Okay, because this is business. So there are certain things that you have to do to be successful, and some of them, like going out and meeting people personally, picking up the phone and calling people, learning how to use Google a little bit better, learning how to use Facebook, getting on Facebook for the first time. They may not be your bag, but there's something that you're going to have to work on.
Yeah, and the customer experience is always it. Do whatever you can to make your customers feel that you care, because you do.
Yeah.
So care about your customers, let them know that you do, give them a great experience, and that is going to be a way that you'll gain customers that isn't always about being the cheapest shirt in town.
Yeah.
What this is the problem in this industry is because it's easy to run to the cheap t-shirt. The cheapest t-shirt's the number one sold. It's easy to run down that road and then get trapped in that area. But you're better off buying the better quality vinyl if you're doing vinyl t-shirts.
Yeah.
You're going to be better off with that. You're going to have happier customers. You're going to do more. I'll tell you what, and I'm willing to bet that if you look in your closet and your friends' closets across the board, and you grab all the t-shirts, the ones that they still wear, how many of those t-shirts did they buy for $4?
Right. None.
How many did they buy
Unless
for $25? More than likely, they're wearing the band t-shirt that was $25. Right. They're wearing a custom t-shirt they order online with a funny slogan that was a good quality shirt that's comfortable, that didn't fade or shrink.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You're always going to be trying to chase new business if you're trying to be the cheapest by selling a $5 t-shirt. Yep. Sell something that's better and nicer, and I think that's a big thing in my
Plus,
opinion.
Jeremy, before we go, I want to mention something important that we talked about in one of the other podcasts, and that's don't assume someone is your competition just because they sell a similar product. So in other words, if there's a big billboard right outside your office that says that you can buy 4 screen printed t-shirts in 4 colors for $5 a piece, don't assume that all of your customers are calling that company and getting a quote, or that that's the price. They may not sell that product at all. It may be a bait and switch. There may be requirements that you don't know about. No one else may see that, or they may be talking to you, Jeremy, because they like you.
Yeah.
They like your product and they like where you are. So never assume that somebody is your competition until one of your customers or potential customers says, you know what? I didn't buy from you, I bought from the other guy because they were $2 cheaper.
Yeah, that's when it's official. And also, when it comes to pricing and profitability, you have to know that a dealer will say, well, this car costs $20,000, but there's a $549 dealer fee, and there's a $129. So you're running the same thing in apparel. It's like, well, we do embroidered shirts, flat fee, $10 every shirt.
Yeah.
But there's a $50 setup fee.
Yeah.
And there's a $25 digitizing fee.
And it'll take us 6 weeks, unless you want a quick order, and then it's
quick order is
more.
$50. For a rush order.
Or their work is crap.
There you go.
It happens all the time. Happens all the time. It's just a crappy shirt, or it's a crappy work, or crappy material.
Yeah, they're using the cheapest possible vinyl that you can buy that's uncomfortable to wear, that doesn't stick to shirts for a long period of time, that you can peel off.
Yep.
And then that's only going to take you so far. But there's other places to go in the business. So don't assume they're competition, because I'll tell you, a Louis Vuitton purse is not necessarily competition to a purse that you could buy in a discount store for $10.
Right.
They're the same product, but there's not anybody. I was going to buy the Louis, but then I bought the $10 purse.
I find it interesting that your two examples are the purple princess dress and the Louis Vuitton purse.
This is.
I'm not going to judge.
We're in a diverse world.
It's true. It's true. Okay, so I really enjoyed this. Other than the fact that it's 1,000 degrees here.
We always get a bunch of emails on this stuff. People call all the time about this, so that's why we come out here, is to help you guys out, and hopefully some of the knowledge we shared, is going to help you do something good.
Yeah, I hope you are incredibly successful and buy more stuff. Okay, have a good day, everybody.
Bye bye.